Well, we're back with North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. We don't rarely say that we had a power surge in North Dakota that took us off the connection, but Governor, rudely interrupted. You were telling your story, if you could, 30 seconds for folks who don't know you, from beginning to where you are now.
Well, yeah, thanks again, Bret. Small town kid, grew up in a town of 300 people, Arthur, North Dakota. Dad was a World War II Navy vet. He passed away when we were 13 years old. I was 13 years old. My mom went back to work as a single mom, raising 3 kids. Ended up with a piece of farm ground, mortgaged that. That became the seed capital for a startup company. We built that into a 2,000-person organization with customers in 130 countries and selling, literally around the world. And in 2016, we decided to jump into the governor's race after I had a 30-year career in business, creating thousands of jobs, creating billions of dollars of shareholder value for investors. And then in North Dakota, we just had a tremendous track record here in terms of taking cost out of government, driving the economy up, cutting red tape, doing all the things. And that's why we're running. We know we can improve the life of every American. We can bring out the best of America. And we're doing that by focusing on the economy, on energy, and national security. And right now, I mean, amazing what all the things we talk about, and no one's even reporting this week. 22-year high on interest rates. We got downgraded 2 days ago. I'm sure Biden was happy that comes out the same day as indictments, because then we don't have to talk about what a horrible job this administration's doing on the economy. And then they slip in the 10th set of rule changes on a state like North Dakota, where we're looking at all of the red tape coming from bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. that are trying to kill the energy industry, kill the ag industry at a time when we should be food dominant and energy dominant as a tool when we're negotiating for our leadership in this world. And right now, the last one 2 days ago is basically it's an assault on pickup trucks. I mean, I don't know what's more un-American than that.
Yeah, you talk a lot about regulations and taxes and what it does to businesses here. As we're looking live, we're following the former president leaving from D.C. He's landed in New Jersey, going back to his place in Bedminster. This has been an all-day thing, this indictment, and obviously he pleads not guilty. What's your thoughts about those charges, these indictments, and how it factors into this race?
Well, I think this is, like I say, the Biden administration loves it when we're talking about indictments, because then they don't have to talk about their horrible track record on national security. I mean, Putin wouldn't even invade the Ukraine if we hadn't let all of Western Europe get dependent on Russian energy. And then the Biden administration says, belatedly, we'll put sanctions on Russian energy. Well, now Russian energy is selling at 20-30% off the world market. Who's buying it? China. So now Biden is helping China get energy at 20-30% off. I mean, every farmer I know in North Dakota or Iowa would like to be able to get diesel at 20-30% off, but not with this administration. So it is a complete distraction. And of course, the other person that loves it, in addition to Biden, is China, because China loves it when we're fighting within ourselves here, as opposed to really focusing on them, focusing on Russia, focusing on Iran. North Korea are real enemies. In this country, we need leadership to focus on the real issues that are going to determine where we're at with our kids and our grandkids, the future of this country.
I've heard you make this turn before. When asked about the former president, you've made the turn to the current president and about energy and what should happen in the future. And I'm sure that you're going to do that on the debate stage as well. But it perked my ears this weekend, a couple weeks ago, when you were on a Sunday show and you were asked specifically a question whether you would do business with the former president.
Did you ever do business with Donald Trump?
I don't think so.
Why?
I just think that it's important that you're judged by the company you keep, and
You just wouldn't do business with him?
No, I wouldn't.
So why wouldn't you do business with him? And you're obviously running against him.
Well, I've voted for President Trump twice. I helped campaign for him. At the time that he was in, he was fantastic. And right now, it's a binary question. Would you do business with him or not? Voting for him is a binary question. You're going to vote for Trump versus Biden. I'm voting for Trump. If it's a business question, there's thousands of business deals that are out there, thousands and thousands. And I'm a tech guy, and I'm a guy that is focused on that. And I just don't see that there would be a business deal out there that I think would, fit into the criteria. But right now, I'm not focused on business. I'm focused on competing for being the CEO of America. And I think we need a CEO who's got a tech background, who understands that every job, every company, and every industry is being changed by technology. But the one place that hasn't changed is the federal government. in North Dakota, it's easy to understand. There's great people working in government. They're not all, people that are part of the deep state. They're working because they want to make a difference in people's lives. That could be law enforcement. It could be people in emergency services, people that make a difference. But 10 to 20% of every job is some, mind-numbing, soul-sucking piece of work that the bureaucrats have added, 30, 40, 50 years ago, some requirement. If you cut all that out, we could get rid of 20% of the 2 million federal jobs, 400,000. Let's get them back to work in the private sector. We got 10 million jobs open in the private sector. Let's reduce the size of the federal government, because the federal government was developed by the states, and there's a set of things that the federal government is supposed to do. They're not supposed to do everything. Return the power to the states, return it to the people.
I wanted to give you time. We had a piece tonight that was going to run about China buying American farmland. It's something that you probably know something about, and you're concerned about China. It all fits together. I want to give you a word on that.
Yeah. Well, I know that they weren't buying it in North Dakota. That's been one of the most misrepresented stories, because in North Dakota, Bret, you and I couldn't farm together because we're not related to each other. Only family farms can own farmland in North Dakota. And so we've got some of the strictest anti-corporate farming laws in the country in North Dakota. But yeah, it's a concern. And this goes back to this Cold War we're in with China. We've got to get our economy rolling so we can support our defense and our military, so that economically we can with our allies, be in a position where we can start to, decouple economically. But this is not, Ronald Reagan taught us how to win a Cold War, but in the 1980s, the Russian economy was small and we were barely connected. Now we've got the world's largest economy. China's got the second largest economy. It's going to be more complicated. But number one, China importing 10 million barrels of oil a day. The U.S. has got to be energy dominant, not just energy independent. That's our tool. China imports food. They need food and energy every day to keep that country going. They have a lot of weaknesses in their system. We can beat them, but only if we can figure out how to get our economy rolling and then use that as a way to provide leadership in this world.
All right, Governor Berger, we appreciate it. We'll see you in Milwaukee. Thanks for the time.
Bret, thanks for having me back on. Thank you.